Hello, I'm JW, and just have a quick look outside here because I made a few changes around here for mainly the benefit of making future videos. Now, this outside area here, that's the sort of brick building behind there, which has been seen in a few other videos. And what I've actually done is put a roof up here so that basically things can be set about here, and therefore we don't have the bother of having the rain coming down, because a number of occasions in the past I've set up things out here just ready to record something, and then suddenly it starts to rain for 5 minutes and then you have to put it all away. So nice roof up there, and so it covers pretty much the whole of this area here. It's only that sort of cheap plastic type material, but keeps the rain off. Obviously that's the intention. And say this thing back here is the sort of laundry cupboard, as it were, so obviously stand behind that window and see what's going on without breathing in all of the toxic fumes and gases. So there's a view of the roof up there, and that's the shed there. It's also night time, obviously, so fairly dark. That's basically the garden way down that end. So basically got this whole area now covered over, and so there we can see the new roof up there. I did put a video up somewhere which showed trying to put this up in the pouring rain the other day. So anyway, it's all finished and done up there. And behind here there's not really a lot to see there, but it's basically a hedge which is next door to the garden there. That needs cutting actually, and then there's the bins there, so not much for that. And then here of course is the shed there. We do have lights outside of that, and let's have a quick look inside. So on the left here we've got that pillar drill. That's been in a video it's quite some time ago now actually, so that's sort of stacked up there. And this thing here has a whole pile of various chemicals and other toxic gubbins on there, so let's come in there. So there's those shelves in that corner there. There's that clock with the face that's absent, and a bit pile of junk up there. Notice they've got the wire wool in that tub there, spelt correctly today. And then down here you've got various other varnish and glues and all kinds of other miscellaneous junk going on there, and just some coat here which used for covering up things. Down the bottom there's that electric heater which we've seen in a number of videos, and various other things stashed on the shelves below. And what this is leaning on, this is actually a testing jig here which I made some while ago. I haven't actually put this in a video yet, but essentially it's for stretching wires and the like. So there's actually a digital scale at the bottom there, and then this can be adjusted here with the threaded bit here, so see how much force it takes to pull things apart. That's the conduit bender just stored in the side in there. This is the computer here for the CNC machine. Again, that's been in a number of videos obviously before. Just sits up there, and then we've got a whole load of sockets here, which is all the sockets we've actually got for the entire shed, and that also does the lighting as well. The lights just plug in on those two. So over on the right there, and then other stuff can obviously plug in. And then underneath here we've also got more storage, and essentially a load of cable and various things stashed in the back there. And we've got these tubs here which are going for the various different types of wires and cables for various purposes. And that thing there is that sort of sample wall, which again we've seen in another video somewhere. Vacuum cleaner here which doesn't normally stay there, it needs to be put away. And under there we've got these things here which are basically two trolleys on wheels, and those are used for their storage as well, so they can just be pulled out on wheels and put whatever you want into those. This is the actual CNC machine on the top above here, and we've got those underneath mainly because obviously the space will be completely wasted otherwise. As you see, it goes from one side of the room to almost the other side. And what we've got here, just a load of stuff I just stuck here temporarily. It's just an extension lead and various connector things there, some electrical sleeving here. Here's that monitor which still hasn't been repaired. That does need to be attended to fairly shortly. Part one of that was done quite some time ago. And then above it here, the back here, this is the dust extractor thing for the CNC machine. This didn't work as well as intended. I see its centre was buckled because of the suction, but it does kind of work. But I need to get a metal one of those ideally, because as you see it's sort of sucked in there. Now it doesn't go back in shape, but it was on some cheap plastic thing, so what did you expect? And then that's a radio which obviously is used for listening to. We're not going to be turning that on because of copyright reasons. And we've got various shelves on the back as well, so there's various things there, sort of a bracket, that thing there. That's actually a plastic screen which goes on a tripod to avoid explosions destroying the camera. Up here there's various bits of old stuff there, bits of various switchgear and old junk there. Half of a clock on the top there and various boxes with things in. That's a box of old light bulbs at the back there, just in use for testing purposes. And then around the back here there's various other rolls of various cables and flexes, and various bits of test equipment on the top there. That one on the middle there, that's that Claire thing which I've seen in a recent video. That's that Allen & West spike detector there, that in the other case. Various things on the top there, I think that's actually a pressure testing deal for electric gates and the like. That thing in the black case on the bottom there is a CRT tester, which I believe doesn't actually work properly at the moment. But anyway, that's another story there. And there's a box of ancient DIY magazines from, I think those are from the 1940s, are they, or something? I'll have a look at those another time. That's a Kenwood mixer, which somebody donated. It was in a broken state, but now works. That's a lampshade. And that's an acrylic tube there for something which never actually got built. So there we have it. Other stuff on the shelves here, a bit more sleeving there. There's a tub of wipes there, there's odds and ends just left here some stuff. That's the sort of portable appliance tester there, that has been on a picture I think somewhere. That's the thing to convert to DC which we've used. And then this thing over here is actually a mechanical rectifier. I haven't actually done a video on that yet, but you can pick that up from somewhere. That's circa 100 years old, so might be a useful video. It's the corner of the CNC machine there. And then over the back there's another sort of thing I made for various other testing purposes. We've seen that in a video previously. And I think that white box there is a emergency down light or something very similar in that white box there. And then on the side here, these shelves, basically there's a whole rack of these green baskets with all kinds of bits and pieces in, small components and the like. There's actually two missing there because inexplicably they decided to fall on the floor the other day, so have to drag those out of there. There's tools on here, sort of crimping things and ratchets, screwdrivers and the like. Some old circuit breakers and bulbs and things on the shelf there. Box of springs there, that's that Canadian fuse box, which pending for another video at some point. And then there's sort of various boxes and things on the bottom there, more bulbs and odds and ends and bits of light fittings and all that. And then down here there's a box of various miscellaneous tools and odds and ends. That's a bin, obviously. Some steel rules hanging up there. Those spanner things there are for the CNC machine to take the tools out. And then basically along the top here we've got a variety of various say small components and all kinds of other stuff, screws and banding and various other tools and all kinds of other stuff like that. And then around this side, that's a roll of kitchen paper there. Those are some frames which you can actually make lampshades from. So there's different shapes there, and little torch there for whatever purposes. Some random other bits and pieces. And then on the bench here, which really does need to be cleaned up, there's a whole stack of screws here, their sizes. That's the auto transformer. Again, that was in a fairly recent video there. Some hand cream, and that's the Wilex ashtray there. The actually says Wilex in the bottom. To see, that was in a video a long time ago. Stuff at the back there which needs to be done into a video. And then here's the supposed workbench, but as you see it's full of all kinds of stuff there. I just dumped these here. We're doing a video earlier to get them out of the way. And what's in here? That's a box of PVC grommets apparently. This is a testing rig which we're featuring in a future video as well, so not going to be covering that at the moment. There's a bit over the back there, that's a three-phase surge device in that box. It's actually broken. And then we've got various bits of stuff here, some new tape I just bought the other day. Multimeter there. And then under the bench here, then we've got a stack of these blue crates which have all kinds of gubbins and things inside. I'm not going to see there, but there's sockets, wires and all kinds of other miscellaneous assorted stuff. And then under the bench here there's the bandsaw, that's been in a video quite some time ago. That's that Burgess thing, little tiny one, quite a handy item. Next to that is a mitre saw. That's not been in a video, got that recently, but it's one of those DeWalt sort of sliding mitre and bevel type things. And then on these here we've got more shells, so some gloves there and various other rolls of wire and cable and various other smaller tools and things, and various bits of scrap timber and MDF and other odds and ends just used for basically cutting on. And there's also a saw stuck in there for some reason, and at the back in there that's one of those barbecues with coal in it for some reason. Oh, and a roll of lead stuff you're supposed to stick on your window if you want to have leaded windows in the back there. So yeah, it's quite a random selection of business there. And some cleaning cloths, and then there's a bit of chain here as well. This is what you use to get wires through old light fittings and the light. You can basically dangle this through, and the gravity, because of the weight of it, will be able to get them through, and you can pull the wires through without having much trouble there. And that's pretty much the whole thing. Then we're back to around to the start again, and that light up there, those do work, but they're not used for the main thing, because those are horrible old compact fluorescent jobs, and they are fairly dim. So that was what was in this shed before it was converted into what it's used for now. Lighting we've got these 3 LED downlights here directly above the bench, so 5 watts each. They light at that pretty well. And then around here there's another 2. They're actually slightly different colour, just above that section there. And then the main lighting is this fluorescent up in the middle. That's a 5-foot fluorescent, and there's 2 tubes in it. There are also those Activa 172, so basically it's daylight white and all that, so it gives a reasonably decent colour. Now it's the same as we use inside to do the videos in the house. So that's pretty much the whole of the shed there. So it's not actually as big as you might imagine, but there's certainly plenty of stuff in it. So that's sort of pretty much the whole actual view there. So the CNC machine takes up a big chunk of it there. And then in terms of the floor area, then that's pretty much it. So this is the door, and then there's that space there. So that vacuum cleaner doesn't really belong there, or there's that wall thing. And then that's pretty much all we've got. And then say the outside, so there's the other building there with the roof there. And if we go back out there, we can see what we have there. So that's pretty much the whole deal. So look there around the shed there, which is that thing behind me there, and the new covered outside area. So we've done most of the things before. They were generally done in front here, sort of by the doors here. So that may recognise that sort of green background we've got there. But so now I have the roof there, so hopefully we can get stuff done out here without it instantly pouring with rain all over it, as it seems to rain fairly often here, but quite often for literally 5 minutes at a time. But of course that's enough to completely destroy and ruin any kind of video. So that's it for this video. Until next time, thanks for watching.